Hello and welcome to Wine and Real Estate.
Hello, everyone.
And at the time of this recording, it's 10 a.m. So I'm having my beautiful yellow tumbler filled with water. And Jennifer,
I'm having iced coffee because the coffee is amazing in Costa Rica. So you have to have lots of coffee, iced coffee desserts.
but we must say we do have good wine here. We've been
Yes.
enjoying a lot of inexpensive wine. I've been shocked by the price
Yes.
of wine.
Chile, Spain, they import wine from everywhere. They don't actually make wine in Costa Rica very
No,
much
it's too
or at
hot.
all. But so we're super excited to have our guest Allison with us today. So Allison, would you like to introduce yourself for those who don't know who is Allison and what does she do?
Sure, absolutely. And I just want to thank you so much for having me on. And I'm actually drinking sparkling water in a wine glass to make it look like it's
Perfect.
actual wine. But just in case you asked, I do have the bottle of my favorite red sitting beside me, so I can show you.
Oh, we're curious. Yes, tell us more. Let's start with the good stuff.
Okay. All right. So this is one I've only just discovered, which is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's from
Ooh,
hold on.
Canona di Sardegna. So it's
It's
Italian.
Italian.
It's
Sardinia,
actually
great.
yes, it is Italian, and it's a vintage. The blue zones areas around the world, Costa Rica
Yes.
being one of them, they highly recommend this one. So it's awesome.
We're gonna try
Anyway,
it.
back to the question you asked me, Jennifer. I am Allison Pazuk. I'm currently in Ontario, Canada, and was a teacher for 27 years, high school math, and then realized that I was kind of limited. I knew that I was here on earth to do something more, and I didn't know what it was. At that point, read the Purple Book, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and went to a
Yes.
weekend and started into real estate. So that's taken an interesting journey, and one I'm sure we're going to dive into.
Exactly. And I think you ended up quitting, well, you have quit teaching, which is hard. It's really the golden handcuffs. My dad was a teacher and you're retired. Well, I don't know if it's the same now, but when he retired, it was indexed to the cost of life, so inflation. And when he passed away, my mom inherited half of his pension that's still being indexed. So you're like in this cage. It's wonderful, but you have to work and it's not easy. Like the students cough on you. And anyway, I was not a teacher, but my dad was always sick from teaching and
Yeah.
the schedule and the holidays. Yes, you get summer off. Yes, you get like Christmas and the March break. But if you want to go beyond that, very, very hard to do. So yeah, tell us more. When did you quit and when did you pull the plug on these golden handcuffs?
Well, I'm glad you described it. You described it well as golden handcuffs, and they did de-index it, but
Okay.
most of my career was indexed, so that's fantastic, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm grateful for it. However, I was getting so disillusioned. So I was 4 years from official retirement, my earliest retirement, and I just realized that I'm not bringing to the classroom what I should be bringing. And I wasn't playing my A game, and it wasn't fair on the students. So at that point, honestly, COVID and the pandemic hit about that time. And
Yeah.
so I took a leave, which we were allowed to do. So I took a leave at that point and then just dove totally into the real estate. And it was the universe sending signs and redirecting me the way that I should be. And I know that there was a lot of, how can you leave? You've got an amazing pension and it's only 4 years from now. And, health and sanity is takes a priority sometimes.
It does. And will you live, like, I don't wish anything on you, but will you live those 4 years? My dad had 10 years and that was it. 62, he was gone. So thankfully he took early retirement, like kind of like you did. He's like, the earliest I can retire was 52 back then. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I
It's
don't know
the
how.
number of years worked and
Yeah.
your age.
Something weird. Anyway, so 52, he retired. Everybody thought, okay, you're way too young. Thankfully he did. And then, yeah, he was gone. So yeah, you gotta seize the moment, carpe diem. Totally.
I
So you
will
started
say
out
that
in-
I'd love to see the stats on it, but I do know that there is some sort of stats between teachers and retiring and either getting sick or being diagnosed
Yeah.
with a disease within a year or two from retirement. And I know it is the stress that is built up. I mean, I was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year. I've done super well throughout it. Health choices, blue zone, diet, and
Good.
have turned it around totally and kind of have a clear bill of health at this point. So, within 6 months, turned it from a stage 3 bordering on 4 to nothing. So
what a blessing.
Yeah, it's incredible, but that's for another day. We'll talk about that another day.
So how did you get started into real estate investing? Because you went to the Rich Dad Poor Dad weekend, and then you got a taste for it. Like, where did you start? What was the starting point?
Yeah, that's a great question. In actual fact, I went to a 1-hour workshop where they just blew my brain with the information and possibility. And so I was the first to run to the back of the room to sign up for a weekend. And as we all know, that with these weekend seminars, they do have the table at the back, and they work really hard to get you to, the FOMO type of thing and buy them more education. I did not. I had gotten enough out of the weekend for me to take the risk. And within a couple of months, we purchased a bank-owned foreclosed property. And it's still one of our best property purchases that we did. And we still have it. In actual fact, the same tenant's in there. He's a fantastic tenant who voluntarily brought himself up to market rent during COVID.
Wow.
He just wanted to do his part. So it's been fantastic. And then from there, bought a second property that we were going to keep with a partnership. I made a lot of mistakes in that one. We learned a lot in that one. For one of them was that the contractor that we hired, his partner was, was that the con? Yeah, no, this one was fine. He just he didn't apply for permits. So an inspector was driving by, he came in, shut the whole project down.
Ouch.
And also I took on a partner who was our brother-in-law, thankfully, and made some ignorant choices. And I'm going to be saying this on a real estate podcast, but it just shows you where we are in the beginning. We are beginners.
Yeah.
My ignorance was, hey, everyone says refi. So we're going to hold the property. Let's refi it. Well, I'll do our part and my partner can go and get his. So I went to the bank, got a 5-year mortgage for what we had to get our money back out of, and made the assumption that my partner could do the same, but he was not on title.
Oh no, so it doesn't appear anywhere.
Yeah, so he couldn't do that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, at that point I just went, you know what, we have to eat Thanksgiving dinner together. Let's just sell the property. Made sure he was whole. He received money on it. I just had we broke even. So I had a lot of lessons that way. And then realized that I needed some sort of education. So found a mentorship group here in Ontario that I'm not going to name. And I learned a lot in the beginning, took me out of employee mindset, how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it was good for that. Absolutely. I know exactly.
Yeah, and it absolutely was fantastic. But at some point in time, you outgrow these things and start asking too many questions. And where answers aren't being able to be found because you've kind of outgrown that person. And then at that point, I decided I was going to be really competitive. And if someone else is going to flip 30 properties in a year, then we're going to, I also had a flipping company that we had opened at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to open, we're going to flip 14. We'll do one a month. It's no problem. So bought 3 of them in February of 2022.
Wow.
You know where that's going. The market turned in March. Yeah. So we discovered
before the cliff.
Yeah. So we discovered in a hurry that the objective for real estate is not buy high, sell low.
No.
So that was
unless you have other corporations. I have seriously some people, it can be good. You have several corporations, one that are performing really high and some they want to underperform. It's a tax play. But if that's all you're doing, that's not good. You'll be bankrupt very soon. But
Correct.
if it's a tax play, of course, check with your accountant. I don't advise anybody on actually doing it, but I know people that do it and they do very well. So
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, no, it was our only one. I did miss the step. I had with a different partner. We started a company and we were doing short-term rentals. So, it was his baby. He'd done it before. And I went, oh, sure. I want to be in the Caribbean with the palm trees. And
Yeah.
that was my dream for short-term rentals. His was to stay local. And so we had, after we've sort of built it out, we had all the processes, we had a little bit of a decision to make because we were heading in two different paths. He wanted to stay local and I wanted to head south. So at that point, we decided to dissolve that corporation and I dove into the flipping. So yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow. We did not go bankrupt, thankfully, but again, through different mentors, different coaching, found the correct way to talk to your hard money lenders when you owe them 2.7 million, So yeah. So anyway, we're still on great terms that we've paid them back most of the money. There's still like 38,000 that we still owe. Small peanuts in comparison to 2.7.
Yeah.
Really grateful that we had other rental properties that we could sell one of them to help cover the losses.
Okay.
And it is what it is. It was a redirection. It taught me what's important in life. And also made me really grateful that we have the rental properties that we do to be able for that cash flow to keep us going.
That cushion, to keep going. And worst comes to worst, you could liquidate. There's all kinds of options. That's what people always forget is the exit strategies and always think of the worst situation. We do a lot of joint ventures and stuff, and you never know. Like everybody's got to be able to, be willing to lose something in this because it can happen. It's not, you always go in with the best intentions, but markets turn, economies change. And visions, like you said, you wanted to go international, your partner wanted to stay local. So tell us more. I think you have some Caribbean dreams now still.
Yes, absolutely. We do. I do just want to touch on that. To me, education is vital. And, saying I want to go to Costa Rica or something like that, but I can't just arrive and buy something and open a business. Like you have to know more. So knowing experts like yourself.
Be a disaster.
Right. Right. So knowing people who have paved the way before us. So connecting with people like you is vital. For us, we in 20, I don't even know what year it was now. We bought land in Turks and Caicos, and our plan is that we were going to be building their spectacular piece of land, and fantastic. And a lot of the islands are like this, that there's no property tax. There's no, other than the purchase and paying the stamp duty, there's nothing. And so it just sat there because we bought it when the dollar was at par. It tells you when that was.
Oh, good.
Which was fantastic. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And then we realized there's something about it. We just don't want to be there. We don't want to build there. So put it up for sale. Took 2 years to sell, but that's okay. It sold at the right time too, paying off debts. And then from there, we've been looking at getting out of the snow. Like, I don't know, don't want to be here. I was born in Bermuda, so the ocean it runs through my veins. I really need to be back. So we've been looking at Costa Rica because I was there for a conference in Guanacaste last year. So loved that area, which I don't think is far from where you are.
It's a province. It's like there's 7 provinces in Costa Rica. Guanacaste is one. It's quite big though, but anyway, we're in Playas del Coco. I think you attended, I think I know which event. So it's about an hour from us.
Yes. Yeah. So the Costa Rica has been part of it. My husband's been very much Panama. And then we found Belize and we're both agreeing on Belize. So we want to pop down. We want to pop down there and see that probably February that we're going to hop down there. So I've got to try and stay focused. I mean, your call about Dubai is like, wow, this is amazing. Stay focused, stay
Yeah.
focused, stay focused.
Yeah, one at a time. I mean, because you can get the shiny penny syndrome and just end up doing nothing. So I'm a bit crazy. If you follow my lead, you'll go nuts very soon. So, but
Actually,
I
I
do
think
help
my
people.
husband would go nuts. I don't think I would, Francois.
Okay, that's it. It's really not for everybody, and that's what I tell. Like you mentioned mentors and mentoring. A good mentor of mine told me, pick someone that's about 18 to 24 months ahead of you in what they're doing, not so far beyond, like they're building a spaceship. Like it doesn't make sense.
They
Like
don't follow Elon Musk, but
yeah, you're like, we love it. He's an inspiration, like with others, but find someone that's done it, but they're not eons away from you. That's huge. And then focus. Do one thing, master it, then you can move on. So that's what we're doing. Like Costa Rica, we know what to do now. Dubai, we know what to do, and we're slowly accumulating all those places.
Yeah, so I'm curious, Allison, are you going to be like doing it in parallel, still investing in Canada real estate and Belize projects? What's the plan?
Great question. I don't know if I have a solid answer on that yet.
Yeah.
You know, we still have family here. We've got a couple of rental properties. If I had my way, I'd sell the house and move. I'd be out of here in a month or two.
That's me.
But
That's what happened.
My husband at least is on board. Terry is on board with what our goal is.
Good.
And as soon as he stepped on board, I went, wait a minute, what? You're on board?
What's wrong?
Okay. We have to think this through then, you know, so it's just getting that going. But yes,
now.
Definitely we're gonna be heading there. I don't think I want to get rid of the rental properties here. It's great cash flow. They're, you know, what the tenants are paying it off, so why not keep it? And it's good for cash flow. I'm interested in the States as well.
Yeah.
So we're involved in a community in the States. That's my next mentorship group. Fantastic. In actual fact, we're bringing that education group into Canada. So because Canada is so lacking in that. So I'm part of the initial, we're starting with Ontario. We're in pre-launch right now. And that's just super spectacular. Excited for that. But other than that, I don't know. Belize has got so many options for businesses. And I know I won't get bored thinking of new businesses and things to do to help people and give value. And it's just so new in the tourism world that it's just so much that you can do and support people. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that Belize is a great place because it's like, it's uncharted territory. Like it's almost like it's a great place to start right now because it's going to be booming in like 20 years, but you can be part of the growth and the boom. And we actually know someone who's building a hotel there. I was like, wow, that's an awesome project.
Hotel right on the water, co-working, and the Belizean dollar is pegged to the US dollar, so always half. Banking is quite solid. It's actually quite a well-known tax haven. So if you're from Bermuda, it's running through your vein, the tax havens. As a Canadian too, you can still leave the tax residency even if you have properties in Canada. We teach on that, and that's a very important thing. So your home base could be Belize and invest in the US and in Canada as well. You couldn't buy anymore though in Canada if you become too foreign right now with some of the laws that might change. But huge opportunities, and I love it, having that mindset. No more snow. We had 43 years of snow. We're like, nope, no more, no más. We're done. And then Belize is English, so you don't have to learn Spanish. For us, that was a big thing. I've always liked learning languages, so I loved it. Belize, I'm like, oh, I already speak English, but it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And there's actually an island that's for sale there. It's a 37-acre island, and it's not ever had anything built on it besides the Mayan ruins when the Mayans used it for a coastal port. And I'm just like,
wow.
I dream about it. I think about it often, and it's just bizarre.
Wow. But, that could be an amazing project.
Can you imagine? So we should all meet in Dubai. We find rich investors from Dubai and we buy the island in Belize. That's the plan here.
There we
Well,
go.
and not to mention that land in Belize, I'm sure is pennies on the dollar compared to here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great. And again, we're gonna pick again on being sick and all that for a few months, but if you have these projects, it gives you hope as well while you're recovering. We have a very dear friend. She had 2 cancer scares in a row, late 40s, early 50s, and now like she's taking care of herself, living on her terms, and has changed her life. Like I love it. She was doing super well, and then she's like, okay, I need to treat myself, which you should. If snow is no longer in the cards, do it. Get your kids to visit, or whatever family you have in Canada, they can come down and go in during the summer. So just enjoy the best of Canada and the best of elsewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, people have always said that, when people are on their deathbed, they don't say, man, I wish I'd worked harder. I wish I'd opened a new business. They always say, I wish I had better health. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. But I've got things to do. And I would always brush it aside. And until this year. And then I realized just how important it is and how much stress can really affect everyone. So, and now that I am feeling better and what have you, and things are ramping back up in terms of income creation and what have you, I do have to consciously make sure that I am balanced.
Yeah.
That I'm, making sure that I've got time aside for myself. And it's a tough one. I have to say, it's a tough one for me.
It's super hard, especially as a teacher. And do you have kids?
Yeah, I've got one daughter. She's always been like a parent to me, strangely enough. She's a very she's a very old soul. She's currently on the other side of the country. She's in BC in the Navy. So I don't see her all that often, but she's coming home at Christmas, so it's exciting.
That's amazing. I was going to say, as a mom, I know like Jennifer's always putting the kids first. You do that for years. As a teacher, you give it all. Like you said, at the end, you quit because you felt like you weren't giving your all. And that takes a toll on you. Like, it's not to be selfish, but you do need self-care. I mean, if you don't take care of yourself, others eventually will have to, but it's still not the same. And you don't want to get there. So I always talk about that mindset. Like in the morning, I do some stuff that I find important for me and saying no. I'm reading a book right now all about saying no. And that's a huge thing. And I'm more of a yes man. So saying no is not easy.
Yes. I connect with that.
So what are you looking for right now, Allison? Are you looking for people to partner with you? Are you looking for
inspiration?
Are you looking for people who have land to sell in Belize?
That's the deal.
Yeah, I actually have to visit Belize before I jump into that. I'm just way too far ahead down my dream path, but before I start looking at purchasing. But
it's a vision.
Yes, it is a vision, 100%. That's a great question. I never really ever think about what do I want. I'm always about helping others and helping others grow. For me, I think right now, we're trying to think about how to.
She asks tough questions. I always tell her I like it because she's like laser sharp.
Yeah, she's got deep questions. I do know that with my current project, with bringing the education up from the States into Canada.
That's already a big project, yeah.
That is a big project. And just getting the word out and letting people know that we don't have gurus. We have a community of people who will clap for your first deal or clap for your 100th deal. The instructors have to be making $1 million a year in whatever it is that they are instructing on. So they're practitioners. They're not, okay, I read a book, I was successful in 2008. So just kind of getting the word out about that is the big one for me. It's awesome because you can use those same strategies in, international waters as well, right? The basic strategies. I mean, you do need the country specific people who know exactly what they're doing, like you were doing. But it's the basic underlying, hey, I'm just starting. How do I flip a property? How do I do a land development deal? Something like that. So that's where these courses and this community comes into play. So that's my ask is, and what I'm looking for is ways to get that word out so I can help other people and inspire them to be better.
Oh, that's awesome. Great goal.
And I love it. And it's a quote I've read many times. If you help enough people achieve their goals, you end up achieving yours. And that's how we ended up in Costa Rica. I was promoting a project and then helping people. I'm like, I want in as well. So we got in. And then I always test things first as well for people. I'm sure you do things similar, like bank accounts. That can be a pain in different countries. I always go and people say, oh, you could just get a power of attorney. No. I want to go in, do the whole process. That way I can guide you through it. Yeah. We just did that we're buying a car here. International car purchases can be a challenge and a half. It's not a one-day thing. It's a week to get a car. So
go to
get
the
ready.
bank, bring your lunch.
Yeah, bring your lunch to the bank, bring your snack, whatever. You can sip on your wine if you want. They have great Wi-Fi. So, I mean, you got to prepare and have that mindset. And that's great that your group there is going to teach those basics, and then you adapt it to your situation or country of choice.
Yeah, exactly. And also country-specific mentors. You know, you can't take one country's education and flat out apply it to everything. It doesn't work. It's a good basis and a good foundation. And then just having the community and like you were saying, go to Dubai and find some rich people who want to invest to help them grow their money in other countries. That's spectacular. And that's what we do within the community. When you've got the senior investors who have money and they don't wish to be active anymore, so they'll lend it to the newer investors, and it's a win-win because everyone knows where your foundation is. So it's great.
Oh, what a great sense of community. That's awesome.
Yes, I love community. It's way better, like you said, than gurus. It's not one person that has
all the solutions.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we would translate that. In French, we say science infuse. They don't have the
like the perfect science
or perfect knowledge. Things change, laws change constantly. Banking, micro markets too. People talk about microclimates. The same thing happens about markets. You could own a house and then there's a little hill, and behind that is total different price point, or people hate it because there's a train or I don't know, something. So you need to know all those things to be good at something. So Allison, that was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit and hearing about your story. If people want to reach out to you for this coaching program or the community you're launching, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way would be probably through social media. It's the @ symbol and then my name, Allison Pazuk. Or they can email me, AllisonPazuk@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to share.
Wonderful.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, and let's drink to that. I'm having my water. You're having your ice.
Thank you.
And your sparkling water. There you go.
Exactly. Cheers.
I can't wait to see pictures of you and Belize testing out the waters and stuff. So.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it, and I'll continue learning from you guys. And Costa Rica, that'll be the next one.
Yes,
we'll be neighbors.
Yeah, that's good. Belize is very close. So
it is. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.